What's up, YouTube? So just going to do a little video on the alternative method and after the fact install of the Polaris Glacier Plow Power Angle Kit. So supposed to get between 1 foot and 2 feet of snow tomorrow. Looking forward to using this. That's why we decided to upgrade, give it a try. Now, before we get going on this is an alternative installation method. If you purchase this after the fact, you can take these directions and pretty much throw them to the ground. Polaris wants you to do a lot of work, but before we even get into this, we're going to stop for a second because this is very important. This is a 2019 850 Premium. When we got it from Polaris, we had them do a light bar, it had a winch, we did hand guards, we did heated thumb, heated throttle. So the reason we're going to stop right now and discuss that is the only part of these instructions that are useful when it comes to the Power Angle Kit's switch up on your handlebar. This uses keyed power. And what I mean by keyed power is this is not going to move just on the battery. You got to turn the key on, which is great protection. But Polaris only leaves you two, orange and white wires. Those orange and white wires are what you plug Polaris OEM accessories into. It's kind of like their little power harness. Now, again, this is after the fact. So we already had a light bar, we had heated handlebars, and a heated thumb. So our two keyed powers were already taken up. Now, my dealer was smart enough to, once they use those, tack in one last plug. So if we didn't have that one last plug, thanks to my dealer being proactive, we would be dead in the water right now as just novice at home riders / wannabe mechanics, right? So just take a look, consider your accessories before diving into this project. If you're not someone who's comfortable with splicing or having to add wiring or tack into an existing harness, this job after the fact might not be for you. Consult your dealer. It's better to spend the money than fry something or just be dead in the water. So now that we got that out of the way, we're going to talk about the alternative install method for this Power Angle kit. So these directions want us to essentially take off the front bumper, the light bar, the radiator cover, some of the plastics, and you can't even see it, but they want you to install your power harness for the plow, which is this guy with these relays here, either in front of your radiator, which we can't really see, or back here. And you can barely see where my finger's touching, but that's the winch lead cables for power. That's where they want you to install this harness with these relays. Now, besides the fact that Polaris claims this would be a 30-minute job to throw those in there, it's definitely not. Going through YouTube, taking into consideration what you ride through, there's some water that gets there, right? You're going through some low rivers, maybe a creek, maybe a mud puddle, maybe you're a mud guy. We tend to just do some trail riding and work around the house and property, but these are not waterproof. We added some electrical tape, we tried to neaten it up, but sitting down there does not make me feel easy. Yeah, this guy's protected, that guy's sealed, but I think that's going to lead to corrosion issues. These have been out for a little bit, but maybe not long enough to see what the damage is from throwing them down there. But for a $700 upgrade, I wouldn't want to do all that work again after I find out things got corroded or rusted or failed electronically. So this is the after the fact alternative install method for this plow kit. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but this part is super simple. Okay, there's 5 screws. They're Torx. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're just going to pop your headlight pot off, just the cover. You don't have to mess with the headlight or anything. And you're just running your wire, and this is all, from factory, so nothing crazy. You're not splicing anything. from your winch, or I'm sorry, your power angle control, hiding it in your headlight pod down through here. So that's just going to run and eventually get connected to this harness. And when we were talking about that keyed power before, these orange and white wires, ours is a little different because we had been left one extra one by our dealer. We plugged right into that. If you have one of these, you could plug right into your orange and white keyed power plugs. Once that all got connected, you're just running however you see fit. Take your time, don't zip tie early. Your cable down through here. You can see I also have my trickle charger down here. That's sealed, and this gives you plenty of room and plenty of cable play for the power angle kit. So whether your plow is in the air, like it is right now, or on the ground, this isn't getting tight or taut or possibly tearing or causing any damage. So let's talk about the positives and negatives of this, no pun intended. Positives, this is away from the elements mostly. If you're bogging down in water up to here, you're pretty much on your own. You're responsible for what you're doing while you're riding. But I like that it's up here, away from the elements, away from water if you're doing some riding again and you get through like a small creek or something like that. The negative is just you got a lot going on with the battery terminals. So instead of going to that winch lead like I had showed you way down in there, we went right to each post. So it's a little busy here, but it's not like you're changing a battery every single day or week. So I'm fine with this. We've got our winch, we've got our plow power harness, and we've got our trickle charger. Nothing else is on there. I wouldn't add anything else to that at this point either. So that's really the only negative there. The negative with Polaris's idea, again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I don't like that that's so close to the water if it was down there. And I also don't like the fact that you would also be essentially blocking some of your radiator if you were to put it in the front. So these things do get a little hot, especially if you're riding through mud or things get caked up. You're just adding a layer of, you know, something blocking the radiator with it sitting down there. And again, if you're a wannabe mechanic like me or just an average rider, it's a lot going on to take the entire front end off of this, find those winch lead cables. It's not a 30-minute job. That probably would have been like 3-4 hours if I was lucky. Whereas once we decided to go with this method, this was about 30 minutes to an hour between just taking some time to figure out where we want to zip tie things and neaten things up. So again, this is an alternative method for installing your Polaris power angle kit. Seems to be a great system. Everything's running now, so we've got up and down on the winch and left and right on the plow. So looking forward to trying that out tomorrow. Hoping to do some donuts in the snow, help out the neighborhood, maybe make a little side cash. We'll let you know what we think of the system once we put it to the test. But just wanted to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we hope that it's helpful. If you need any help at all, we monitor the channel. We're happy to comment and give you some more details. But this is just to sum up a review of doing this install after the fact. It's just your average homeowner and an alternative method to keep you from spending hours scratching your head and getting angry at the machine. We'll see you again. Thanks for watching.